Now, Senator Bernie Sanders' presidential campaign just made political history. On Thursday, the campaign reported that it received campaign donations from 1 million individuals. So now that's pretty amazing. And they are the first campaign this primary season to reach 1 million individual donors. And they did it sooner than any other campaign has. So that's important because it really does show that there is major people power behind his campaign. So let's get to more details here. Out of the more than 1 million individuals who have now given, according to the campaign, only 0.5% have given the maximum amount to this election cycle. Now, that's important, right? Only 0.5%. Right now, I believe the maximum that you can give is about $2,700. And that's in the primary, and then an additional $2,700 during the general campaign. So those are your campaign limits for individuals, right? Now, if you're a super PAC and do independent expenditures, well, you can give unlimited amounts of money, and it's usually dark money. So, but these are real people. These are not political action committees. These are not corporate PACs. These are, again, you and me, right? And so 99.95% are able to give again and give multiple times. Again, super important, right? Now, the campaign also announced that it has more than 125,000 people signed up for recurring contributions each month. So that's a steady stream of income that the campaign says will provide a constant stream of reliable investment that will last throughout the campaign and build the organization required to win the nomination and defeat Donald Trump. So now, who are the people giving to Bernie? Well, this is really important too. Turns out the biggest donors to Senator Sanders are teachers. That's right, teachers. And the most common employer to those donating to Bernie Sanders are workers that work at Walmart, Starbucks, and Amazon. Those are the biggest employer, the most common employers for people giving to Senator Sanders. That's amazing. Now, I like how Starbucks is in there, right? Take that, Howard Schultz. You remember him? He was running. And then he's like, ooh, yeah, turns out not going to run against Bernie. Or not going to run against Biden because he still thinks Biden is going to button this thing up. I don't know about that. I don't know, man. We'll see. But look, that's not surprising to see these people donating to Bernie Sanders. In fact, Bernie was the guy who pressured Amazon and Walmart into raising worker pay. Bernie's had their back, and now they've got Bernie's back. I love it. So now, Fez Shakir, who's the campaign manager for Senator Sanders, said this in a statement. With 1 million contributors, this is the only Democratic campaign that has more supporters than Donald Trump. A point that I think Trump will get rather upset about. He then said, our strength is in numbers, and that's why Bernie Sanders is the only candidate who was able to say his campaign will rely only on grassroots funding in both the primary and against Donald Trump. I sense a slight dig at Elizabeth Warren. I'll explain in a minute. Like all campaigns, we are beholden to our donors, and we're proud to stand with 1 million working people. So now, I mentioned Elizabeth Warren, right? Look, she and other candidates said, we're not going to take corporate donations. A lot of those people have backtracked. Now, Elizabeth Warren is still taking is not taking corporate money in the primary, right? But she did say, I'm open to it in the general. So now, why did all those other campaigns, and you also had Kamala Harris, you have Pete Buttigieg. I think Pete Buttigieg is still not taking, no, he might be taking corporate money. Beto O'Rourke. Beto O'Rourke, to be fair, is still not taking corporate cash, right? But a lot of these campaigns who have promised it had to backtrack. Why? It's because there's not enough money. Turns out campaigns are super expensive, and they do not have the kind of engaged donor base that Bernie Sanders has and has worked to set up for the last several years. They do not have his infrastructure, and they do not have his energy. Even Elizabeth Warren, again, Elizabeth Warren does not take corporate money in the primary, but she says she has to be open to it in the general election if she becomes the nominee. Now, that I assume is from uh, not wanting to unilaterally disarm. So that's look. When if the campaign gives that excuse of, hey, look, I know, right? I don't want to take corporate donations, but look at the Republicans. Yeah, but you don't want to become the Republicans. That's the problem. And so there's this level of trust, right? Where it's like, if you start taking corporate money, well, then we know you're not going to represent us, because we've seen that from too many politicians. So it was a really, really bad miscalculation on Elizabeth Warren's part to come out and say, I am open to corporate money. No, you don't say that. And so right there, the fact that Bernie Sanders takes no corporate PAC money, will never accept corporate PAC money, and now has 1 million individual donors and 125,000 recurring donors, and over 99% of his donors can continue to give more in the general election and as the primary goes on. And he, by the way, he's got a lot of money on hand, a lot of cash on hand. So that shows that he's in a really good position. Bernie's the obvious choice. I mean, he's also got 1 million donors. Obvious choice. Not only that, but he's got high early polling in a lot of the states, the early primary states, and he's got very solid, easily explained, detailed policy positions. How could Bernie Sanders not be the obvious choice to take on Donald Trump? No, he totally is. And add in the fact that it's teachers and working people who are his biggest contributors, not oil companies, not corporations, not wealthy donors and bundlers and individuals. That says something really important. That says that he is the candidate for the 99% and that he will fight for us. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a patreon.com/TYTNation set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron. Patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.